Hey guys, Brian delivers you to the goods here. Hopefully this video works this time, because apparently when I did the last video for this Tate Mcrae album review, it basically was glitching, freezing, and cutting out like 40 seconds of the video, which was so unnecessary, and I was really pissed off, and I was like, oh my fucking god. So basically, I had to start from scratch again. So yeah, this is for the Tate Mcrae Think Later album review that I'm returning to you officially. Hopefully this works this time for the second cut to it. So I'm gonna discuss what I listened to for her new album, Think Later, and let you know my thoughts on her new album and what I thought of it overall on this album mostly. So let's dive into this album review. Now it starts with Cut My Hair, and that's a good track for what I went for. I was really surprised with this song because honestly didn't hate it for how it sounded. So I think the melody was pretty on point, the mixing was pretty well done, and just overall it executed pretty well. I mean, there were some moments where she did some rapping in the verses that it was like, I don't know if I like it or not. But overall, this is a 4.5 out of 5. Then comes Greedy, and that's a good track in its own way. Wasn't sure if I was going to like it at first, but it did grow on me with how the overall track was sounding and how she was singing it. So this is a 4.5 out of 5 as well for this track. Run for the Hills is a good song in its own way. I forgot to mention that Greedy was a single, but I didn't listen to it because I just wanted to wait till album release to listen to this song. So pretty much Run for the Hills, to continue where I left off, is a good track. Didn't hate this song for how it sounded, and her vocals sounded pretty good, and it's mixed pretty well. So 4.5 out of 5. Excuse my yawning in this video. I'm just getting the yawns. And pretty much the next song is Hurt My Feelings. And this is a good track in its own way too. It's very short for the runtime. It's 2 minutes and 2 seconds, but it gets the job done with how Tate Mcrae is singing it and how it's well produced and mixed, and just the overall execution performed alright. So 4.5 out of 5. Then comes Grave, and this is where I'm going to mention that I'm going to be starting new ratings for my channel as of now for the remainder of 2023. I'm going to start with the new rating system, and throughout 2024 there will be new ratings for what I give songs and all that. So it'll be like 3.75s, 4.25 out of 5s, all that stuff. So you'll be seeing stuff like that. But pretty much, excuse my yawning, I think I'm going to give Grave a 4.25 out of 5. Almost said 2 for a second. Accidentally thought I was going to give it a 2, but no. It's not worthy of a 2 out of 5 or anything like that. It's just better than that. But overall, her vocals sounded good. I mean, there were some rapping moments with the mixing being hit or miss, and overall, the track was alright in its own way. So 4.25 out of 5. Yeah. Excuse my yawning. Stay Done is a good song in its own way. I think I didn't hate it for how it sounded. Her vocals are pretty good, Tate Mcrae's vocals, and just the melody sounded pretty nice for what it was going for. So this is a 4.5 out of 5. Then comes X's, and that's a 4.25 out of 5. It has a catchy beat, and it's good to dance around to this track, because it did have a very catchy beat, and it was well mixed. But overall, I think some of the lyrics and how it sounded overall, with how she was singing it, there were moments where I liked it, and I was hit or miss about it. So this is a 4.25 out of 5. We're Not Alike is a good song in its own way. I'd give this a 4.5 out of 5 because I personally dig the song a bit with the melody and how it sounds overall. So Tate McRae's vocals were pretty good in this one, so 4.5 out of 5. Calgary is a good song in its own way. I think the melody sounded pretty good, and just this is going to get a 4.5 out of 5. It impressed me a bit, this track. So pretty much the good tracks are the ones that are making the album stay afloat. Even though they're going to decrease the rating a bit, it's still going to get a good rating, this album. So this is a 4.5 out of 5 for Calgary. It didn't sound so bad. Messier is a good track in its own way. Didn't hate this song for how it sounded. Tate McRae's vocals sounded good in this track, and just overall, the melodies and the mixing is pretty well mixed. So this is a 4.5 out of 5. Then comes the title track, Think Later. I actually dig this track, so I'm actually really digging this song a bit. Do I like it? I think it's probably one of the strong tracks for the album. So my new rating would be a 4.75 out of 5. Because I deem it to be that. I mean, there's some rapping moments in the verses that I don't know if I like, but it is strong enough to get that rating. Because for the 2 minutes and 12 seconds, I was quite entertained with this, and her singing in it was not bad. There were some rapping moments I was, excuse my yawning, not keen on. But overall, yeah, I'm a little tired because the milk's making me tired. So, basically, 4.75 out of 5 for Think Later, the title track. Then comes Guilty Conscience, and that's going to get a 4.75 out of 5. Don't hate this track either. I think it sounds alright for what it goes for. So, yeah, 4.75 out of 5. Sorry, I'm writing the ratings right now for new ratings. And overall, I think Guilty Conscience did have some things it was picking up, but it still sounded alright. Then comes Want That Too, and that's a solid track, meaning it's good in its own way. So I'd give this a 4.5 out of 5 for this track. I didn't hate it for how it sounded, and Tate McRae's vocals sounded pretty good, and the way she was singing it sounded pretty nice. And then comes Plastic Palm Trees, and yeah, the last track's getting a 4.5 out of 5. Plastic Palm Trees, to continue where I left off, is a nice acoustic track that ends the album pretty well, and I'd give this a 4.5 out of 5. It ended the album pretty well, and I was really entertained with this closing track, so good closing track. 4.5 out of 5. Overall, production, mixing, and execution-wise, I actually found myself to really like this album. Do I like it enough to be on my best albums? No, but it will be on my decent to good albums of 2023, which that video is coming out this weekend, depending on if I can get around to it. But pretty much, I think Tate McRae did a lot better on her sophomore album than her first album. Her debut album was not my favorite, but I think her team and herself produced and mixed this album very well, and this sounds very fresh, that to the point where I kind of dig this album. So this is a good album in its own way. So for a score for me, I'm giving Tate McRae's sophomore album, Think Later, an 8 out of 10. This was a good listen. I would be coming back to this album from time to time, because I did not hate this release. I think this was a better release. And surprising, isn't it, that I gave her last album a 6.5 out of 10, when in fact I know she was saying a lot of crap about me in 2022, which, for that, I'm sorry if you felt that way, but this time around you're getting praise, so good job on this one. Because I think this was a better release, in my opinion. So, 8 out of 10 for Tate McRae's Think Later album. Hopefully you enjoyed this album review, even the artists themselves, Tate McRae. Hopefully you liked this review better than the first album review I did on your first album. It's nothing personal, it's just I was expressing my own opinion, so please don't get mad about it. It's just, that's how my opinions work. It's just when I listen to something, I will tell it like it is. And that is how I am. I'm pretty brutal with my rating system. So, with that being said, thank you for watching this album review tonight.